Hey guys, what's up? It's Dusty here, back with another crypto video, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. Now, make sure you press the like button because if this video can hit 500 likes within 24 hours, we're giving away $50 worth of crypto in the next video live. So make sure you comment something down below, press the like button, and have the notification bell on to enter. Now guys, also make sure you check out my second channel. It is called Dusty Finance. I have a couple of very cool videos on here that I recommend you guys all to check out. They're completely free, no advertisements, no affiliate links, so make sure you check them out. It's just to give you guys some value. To take a step back though, today I want to talk to you guys about a very serious question that I think many people in the community have, and it is $1,000 worth of XRP enough? Or is $1,000 enough to become rich? Or is $1,000 a good investment into XRP? And I want to talk with you guys a little bit about that subject. First off, there's no correct answer to this question, as it will always depend on how much money you have, what you think of the coin, what you think of the project, yada yada yada. But today I want to give you some news from within the community. I want to give you some intuition for how to think about these prices. I want to give you some thoughts about my thought process, so to speak, and I also just want to give you guys some more info about Ripple and XRP to make up your own opinion, to make up your own mind, as this video is not specifically about the $1,000 investment really. It's about the idea and the thoughts behind it, and you'll understand why I call the video this way as we go along. So please watch all the way till the end, as you might think it's another scummy, annoying price prediction video, but it's not. There's a lot more going behind this. First off, I want to start this video out by actually looking a couple of years back at some of the things that David Schwartz said. So one example is actually from not too long ago. Does Ripple control XRP? Absolutely not, insists the Ripple CTO, David Schwartz. And the reason I want to bring this up straight off the bat is because one of the biggest misconceptions that I see often in this space is that XRP is controlled, is that XRP can never hit high values, is that XRP can never really be adopted because Ripple owns it all, which means that no other big company will ever want to use it because they're always tied to a company called Ripple. Now, of course, this is a misconception. He says, absolutely not. The XRP ledger is an open source technology with a robust community of developers. So if Ripple were to vanish, XRP and the ledger will still remain. I think that's a very important distinction to make for anybody watching this video, to just know that Ripple and XRP are two separate entities. They're not the same thing. Ripple's the company, XRP is the cryptocurrency. Now let's get on with some new stuff though. So a couple of years ago, 2017 December, a question was asked. It was actually talking about the low price of XRP and it being better for the company. But David Schwartz said that we want XRP to have a low price is a myth. We are the largest holder, and this is actually something that I found quite interesting because I've always been trying to say that for Ripple it would have a positive effect if the price of XRP were higher because it would make things simpler. Some people disagree, some people agree, but I just have always vouched for that. Really, there's no big theory behind it. I just always vouched for it because I thought that in the back of my head. But this tweet a couple of years ago already gave me, I guess, a little bit of thought about that. But then later on, or a little bit before that actually, now that I'm seeing it, he also said, as a reply to XRP official, who said, Joel Katz, David, would it be beneficial to XRP to have a higher trading price? If so, how so? Thank you. And he said himself, a higher price for XRP would help Ripple several ways. So here's a very big story about it. The most obvious benefit to Ripple of an increased price of XRP is that it increases the value of Ripple's XRP. This means that Ripple has a greater ability to incentivize partners and liquidity. It also means that Ripple can raise more revenue by selling XRP. Indirectly, more value almost always means more liquidity and trade volume. XRP already has each of the other characteristics needed to be a good intermediary asset, but it will be initially limited by the available liquidity. Greater liquidity will give Ripple more flexibility to target larger corridors. And this part is, of course, quite important. The last line here. I know some people will get scared off by seeing this part right here that says, it also means that Ripple can raise more revenue by selling XRP. You can kind of feel like a money slave right there by, them using you to pump up the price of XRP so they can get more revenue. But I see it a little bit differently. Again, you can also see it from your personal benefit perspective, right? You're buying into a coin that gives them more revenue, but also gives you more revenue since you both want the price to go up for you to get money from it. And literally in both of these lines, you're seeing here that it's in their best interest for the coin to go up. And really, in reality, all that you really want from XRP, right, is the price to go up. I mean, we can talk about adoption all day. We can talk about how you want it to have greater use case and how you like the technology, yes. But for that to really become beneficial to you, you also want the price of the coin to go up. Again, we're not talking about how much, because I don't want to give you price predictions in this video, but still the idea is there. Also, to some extent, Ripple's success is limited by people's perception of Ripple's success. If you think Ripple's payment technology is going to be the next big thing, you'll be willing to invest the money and resources needed to implement and deploy it. If you think Ripple's a scam, you're not going to integrate it or perhaps even look at it. Whether it makes sense or not, XRP's price is seen as a measure of Ripple's success or likelihood of future success. It is also important that it not to be terribly expensive to hold XRP. A higher price will mean that a similarly sized cell will produce less volatility. So a higher price could mean a lower cost to hold XRP. So long as XRP's general price direction is up, the volatility can be hedged without much difficulty. This part can also be scary to some people. The volatility can be hedged without much difficulty. That might sound like some manipulation going on there, but hey, who would not like to get some manipulation going, right? Some people are saying the price of XRP is kept low right now to make more people get in early, because at one point, it's going to all become cheaper, but the price have already gone up, so the entry cost will be a lot higher. But in this case, the volatility will most likely be lower. When Bitcoin sold for $1, you couldn't really use them to buy or sell a house. You can now. Bigger transactions require bigger value. The higher the price of XRP, the larger the payments Ripple can target. When you're expecting exponential growth, even a small increase in your starting point can pay huge dividends down the line. And this, my friends, is something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. I don't know if I can actually, is there a way to keep tweets somewhere just so I can add tweets to bookmarks? Maybe that's it. Never used bookmarks or anything like that before. Maybe it's in here to just, keep this tweet somewhere in my personal archive, because this is something that I'm going to remember and maybe even print out and put above my desk here for the rest of my life. This tweet can give you guys so many insights, give you so much of a different perspective to the whole situation. Even now, after reading it again, I'm thinking about retitling my video about, why XRP is really deemed for success. Also, you can ask yourself, why is Ripple dependent on Ripple, XRP dependent on Ripple? What's the connection between the two? Well, you can read it up here. Is XRP and are Ripple, are they both connected? Yes, they are. Is one success the other success as well? Yes, they are. Is one's failure the other's failure? Partially yes, partially no, because as we said and established before, I see a mosquito. My days. Should I kill it or should I keep continuing this video? I'm gonna continue, but just know I'm seeing that mosquito. Damn it, guys, it's 3 a.m., so I should be, okay. Let's not get off topic, though. For XRP, really, to fail, at least, if XRP fails, Ripple can continue on, and if Ripple fails, XRP can continue on, so really, yeah, it's a yes, because they'll probably do less good, but in theory, they can't always do that. But all right, let's put this behind us. We got it in the back of our head. We know that a higher price will help Ripple out. It's said by the CTO at Ripple, so it's a trusted source. Here's a tweet that I just sent. Is actually a kind of a reply, kind of a retweet from All and Out, who said, Bitcoin at $1, it will never go to 10. Bitcoin at 10, it will never go to 100. 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000. And Bitcoin at 10,000, it will never go to 100,000. Never say never. Because at any price point, there's always these naysayers who say, all right, we hit that, but the next point we cannot get to, right? Or, yeah, that was just lucky. Or no, we can't get there because X, right? Or we can't get there because of market cap, yada, yada, yada. People will always find something new to be afraid of, to complain about. And I always find it quite interesting how at any price point, which it means it's proven again that things are possible, people start to think of new excuses and new ideas of why it cannot happen. So whenever I make a video about prices like $10 for XRP, I'm never actually talking about my own price predictions. I'm actually talking about it realistically being possible or not. I will never give you guys a video explaining why the price can go to $100 from my own perspective. I will only then go over some of the articles from some different people explaining why they said it, most likely, what their thoughts are. But personally, a price like we're saying here, to me, does not sound that crazy for the future. Do I think it will happen within a couple of weeks here? Most likely not, but I definitely do not see it as an impossibility to ever occur. And that's what I like to tell some of you guys. Again, this is not a price prediction for you to count upon here, as it may as well as be that it will never happen. But I'm just putting it out there that I see that as a possibility. Just saying. And a main reason for that as well is also that at any point where we think crypto is impossible to go higher, or the prices are maxed out already, we just get proven wrong once more and once more and once more. And what I'm seeing here again is, I'm just thinking that if we're saying no again to a price like this, like at one point it was 1 cent XRP or even lower. People were saying $3.50, never gonna go there. Bitcoin at $1, they're like, or at 10 cents, people were like, never gonna go to $15 for XRP, for BTC. And then it happened, and then it crushed it 1,000 times. It happens. And that's why we'll never say no to those prices again. But to really get back to my question though, of is $1,000 worth of XRP enough? Well, here's a person who has 957 XRP. So close to making my goal of holding 1,000 XRP. For someone like me who doesn't have a lot of it to invest, this is big for me. And yes, I definitely think it's a very big point to hit. 1,000 XRP really gives you kind of a feeling of involvement, and also, I would say, kind of a connection to the community more so, because now you're really invested, and also might feel like a good milestone for yourself to be able to say that you've finally accumulated 1,000 of the coins that you like. But of course you want to know for yourself, is this really gonna make me rich? Is this really gonna be something crazy? That again depends on where your prices lie. If we go back to my previous little scheme here, and it goes to, let's say, $3.50 again, all-time high, or even 3 times all-time high, let's say $10 ever in the future, a 1,000 XRP or $1,000 in XRP, which is about 3,000 XRP, will then be about like $10,000 to $30,000. Will that change your life? Could be, depending on how you live right now and how much money it is for you. Will it really be something to live off of for the rest of your life? Most likely not. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there, as the one side is really kind of good, the other side is good as well, but it might not be as good as you expect or as good as you hope for. But hey, $1,000 in XRP, which is 3,000 XRP at this point, yeah, it can definitely be a lot of money at one point. If you look back at some of the tweets that I saw earlier today, though, like this one right here, I covered it in my previous video. It was quite interesting, though. If you have $10,000 right now, again, it's 10 times as much as we were talking about here, but it goes back to all-time high. It's about $106,000. And again, that's talking about 10 times as much as the question in the video, but still, the result's also 10 times as high. And we're talking then about, a freaking 100,000, 100Ks, 100 bands that you got right there. And again, like I said in my previous video, if you compare it to what kind of gains you would have gotten if BTC were to go back to all-time high, it would only be about 9,000. Again, if we shorten it by, we divide it by 10, so we go to our $1,000 about, you would with BTC have about $900 profit, and with XRP still have about $10,000 in profit. There's a very big difference, and as I said before, the lower you go in the market cap list, or the lower you go, or higher you go, I guess, in a percentage from all-time high, of course, the more that it will change, because there's a lot of coins here that are way down further than XRP is, and if you invested into any of them and they go back to all-time high, you're way more profit than with XRP. Now, the question, of course, is, though, which coin is going to achieve it? And for XRP, I'm really quite convinced that they can get back to all-time high. Again, no guarantees here, though. This is not financial advice, purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. D_Rev says on Twitter, does anybody else get a feeling like maybe we might see XRP move like we did in 2017 again? Just awfully similar. Lots of coins were moving, everyone was bitching about XRP, and then boom, here's to hoping. This is something that I really like in the community, because many people are enthusiastic about the project, many people are liking it, but it also gives a little bit of a fake perception of what mostly happens in the crypto space, right? To be, again, completely honest with you guys, as that's the style that I want to make these videos. A little while ago, I just had a little moment where I thought, instead of going exactly in the direction that people want me to go, I'm just going to stay 100% humble. Exactly how I think about these coins, I'm going to tell you. That's what I'm doing right here. I think that these articles give a little bit of a fake perception into what really is possible and what will happen. Patience is something that you need, yes, and with patience, you would definitely get there. Is a run like 2017 happening now? Can it ever happen again? That is a question that is hard to answer, but the answer that I'm thinking there is most likely no. Reason for that is, we focused too much on the developments made in 2017. We relied too much on the price movements and the hypey feeling and the big gains that we saw right there. But we must not forget that and those increases in that time was so different than we are seeing right now. a very big difference to note is that that run was mostly built upon hype, speculation, and ideas, white papers, and whatever. And what we're hoping for right now, at least hoping for, is that these coins are valued and going to be valued by how much they're really worth in terms of use. If we were to have the same patterns and same things like we saw in 2017, we're all doing this just for fun. Because these investments mean nothing. They are just sort of numbers put on a board, because again, it doesn't matter what the crypto does. It's just about how much value people can attach to a little story surrounding it. Really not what it does, how it's being used. Nobody cares about that then, if we can have the same run like 2017. So I would prefer not to have a run like 2017, but a run made of value, where actually these prices can go way higher, in theory again, because if we could also value these coins at $3, only talking about potential scenarios about hype, how far could we then go if we're talking about real use and it already being proven and being shown, right? In theory, I guess, following my own predictions, we could actually go way higher then. But again, that's a theory, as we don't really know yet. If we're looking at another article or another little tweet from Cryptomaniac, it's also what I saw said earlier today. So you'll see people bragging about buying 100 XRP. Now, of course, it's going to take a very long time for 100 XRP to become something to brag about, and maybe even never, as 100 XRP right now is only $30. It's about the idea and the thought behind cryptocurrency being in an infant state and really having so far to go into the future, where there's so much opportunity for a lot of these coins to really become worth a lot. And also, when do you brag about something, right? Right now, bragging about 10k XRP is very much doable. I mean, it's $3,000, but still, I would be like, oh, he bought 10,000 XRP. That's a pretty good investment to make. $30, $10,000, whatever amount, we can actually quickly get there if XRP starts to pick up some velocity, pick up some speed, and starts to scale, or we get into another run, because those $33, if XRP goes to all-time high again, is times 10, is already at $350, let's say, for example. A little bit higher, we'll go 3 times all-time high, it's already at, let's say, $1,000. You guys get me? It starts to scale really well, and the question is about, of course, like, when should one brag about a cryptocurrency? But it's more so about the idea than the real question of, like, we shouldn't value these smaller amounts of coins. Let's say Bitcoin, 0.0001 Bitcoin. A lot of people are like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that. I actually personally do. I give a lot about it. I do care a lot about it. I attach a lot of value to it, because it's still a very big amount of money if I see it in the future value. As I said before in my tweets, and one of the tweets that I said before, sent before, I don't know where it is on my page. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll find it somewhere here. It's about tipping in the community. So many people are ungrateful for a 0.1 XRP tip, because, like, that's nothing, right? Why are you giving me nothing as a tip? If you're going to tip me, give me, like 20 cents or $1, not like 3 cents or even 0.3 cents. But I'm like, you're seeing this completely wrong. First of all, tipping is about a gesture, not about the money. But also, on the side note, you have to see it in future value, because that's really what you're investing in, what you're believing in with XRP. If you're seeing it in this value, then yeah, all of these coins are kind of stupid, kind of strange. But at least how I like to see it is to look into the future, what you predict for these coins, what you expect, and to also value them that way. So in this case with XRP, I'm really kind of grateful about 0.1, 0.01. Whenever people tip it, I'm like, yeah, thank you, because I see it as another potential coffee in the future that somebody's just giving me for a little tweet or a little bit of work. I'm just giving out coffees everywhere, just giving it to people whenever they say something really cool. Because that's how I like to have this community going. Again, you're motivating people to create stuff, and me personally, if I see it in future value, the tip means so much more. And also, again, I know it's not about the money, but it's about the gesture, but still, to know that somebody wants you to buy a future coffee is just something really positive. And also, if we look at it from another perspective, the whole story that I'm giving you guys here about, these cryptos, you should see them in future value. One thing to never forget is how what we're having right now can always be replaced. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. For example, Ford Model T, like we said in my previous video, all these things that you're seeing right in front of you, dial up into Wi-Fi, taxi into Lyft and Uber, Blockbuster, Netflix, Napster, Spotify, Ford Model T to Tesla Model S, BTC into XRP, Swift into RippleNet, a lot of things can get replaced. And of course, there could be another one in line here that will replace XRP or RippleNet. But that's, again, future talk. What I'm saying here, though, is a lot of what we're seeing right now is not where it's all going yet. we're just at an infant state. We're just at the beginning. And just because BTC was here first, being the big one player in it now, doesn't mean that it will stay that way forever. It could very well be so that BTC will always stay number 1 and XRP will always stay number 2 or 3, but it could also change up. It's something to keep in your back of your head. BTC took the big growth spurt first, but there's still a lot of growth potential for some of these other coins. XRP Crow says, XRP will warp space, time, and blast into another dimension. And he has a tweet attached. He says, XRP is going to rip the naysayers' faces off as it warps space, time, and blasts into another dimension. Oh, it's the same thing. It's just funny how I see the people against XRP really being against it heavily. You know, they're not like, no, I'm not investing into XRP, period, but they're really vocal about their hate towards the coin. What I personally like is either you just ignore the coin, move on with your life, or invest into it for a little bit because there's so many people supporting it, you have some chance for it to pick up. I'm investing into some of the coins that I don't even like just because I'm like, I don't want to FOMO into whenever it does good. And with XRP, there's so much potential and a lot of people are seeing it. Thousands of people are seeing it. I don't want to be left out whenever it does happen. And that's, I think, also where his tweet is going. Like, if it does well, or in this case, when it's going to do well, it's really going to take the faces off of those people because they're going to do so good, and the people are going to be like, what? Yeah, your face is going to be pulled off. And that's another way to view it. Like, a small investment of 1,000 XRP or $1,000, again, relatively small, depending on how much you have, of course, can really be life-changing, and it is true. Willy Wonka XP says, after listening to this video from Western Union CEO, I've concluded that this man has too much pride to make a move. I think Western Union will join Ripple only after they squeeze away profits and expand MoneyGram. Hold XRP, Wonka knows. He has a little bit of a picture attached. What is this? Okay, most likely from Western Union. The second quarter 2019 earnings call. Yeah, you can read into it. I don't care about it. It's about the idea and what he said in this tweet. What I'm personally thinking here is there's a lot of companies who are really against Ripple right now, but November, a lot of that might change. We've seen a lot of NDA talk. We've seen, which is a non-disclosure agreement. We've seen a lot of, players who are testing it right now. We've seen a lot of players who are wanting to test it, but they're still waiting for some confirmations from other players. We've been seeing a lot of things. What I'm thinking here is that MoneyGram is going to set a very big example in the space. MoneyGram is really our validator, really, in the whole crypto space, because if MoneyGram is going to show the world like, hey, we're the best thing in the world right now to transfer money with, a lot of these companies like Western Union, who now have too much pride or are doing too good, like some people are saying, to get taken over by Ripple, so to speak, they will have no chance but to use it to get adopted, to adopt. Right now, that they have a choice because they don't have to. They're still doing good in business. There's still many people using them, but that's of course because Ripple's not that popular yet, and also because we have not shown them that there's no other way. They still see it, and they will continue on this way until we really show them that there is not. It will take some time, but I think with Swell in November, Ripple will have such a mind-blowing event and such mind-blowing results from a lot of the companies using it that they might have another, twist in their perception of how good Ripple really is. Eric Dedune said to A. Pompliano, he said, in the eyes of A, when reviewing the major events of the week in the industry, a fiat-backed stablecoin is more noteworthy than public declared adoption and supportive comments of XRP and by MoneyGram. Power to you, Pump, but short your brand, long truth. And he says, can you send me the XP news? I generally didn't see it this week. I've covered XRP in the weekly update before, so not opposed to including it, just didn't see anything material this week. And again, I actually do believe him right there. I think mostly it's because he's been spammed completely from XP community members by saying, why the frick have you missed out on XP and MoneyGram? But most likely, also some of the non-XP community members were like, why have you missed out on one of the biggest crypto events in history? Because here, a really popular, I think or some people I still say second most used financial money provider, however you say it, in the world, adopting Ripple. Even though they were doing bad in terms of stock, they're still really popular. Start to use Ripple. I'm seeing the mosquito look at me, guys. I really don't want him to fly away. I hope he does not. My days. But yeah, one of the most popular. Wow. Okay, sorry for getting distracted, but really it's 3 a.m., so I'm gonna have to go to sleep straight after this, and he's looking at me. But I'm recording the video and I don't want to pause it right now. Otherwise I have to, edit everything again and whatever. Just hoping he does not fly away. I'm sorry for disrupting the video once more. But yeah, I'm thinking he got spammed even by normal members of the crypto community because, of course, it's some normal stuff to talk about as well, right? People in the normal community are like, why have you skipped out on XRP? Are you against it or what? They're like, why have you missed out on such a important opportunity or such an important crypto event? I'm wondering as well. Here's a tweet just to show you guys that there's progress being made every single day. Ripple is back in the green zone as Westpac joins the list of customers for RippleNet. Westpac is one of the big 4 banks in Australia, and I don't know much about it. I just read it, just read the tweet, didn't even read into the news or anything like that. Just thought it was worth a mention. And last but not least, Impulse Upward Incoming XRP. I just find it, by the way, press the like button if you're not already done so. I put a lot of work into these videos, so make sure you press the like right now. Last but not least, Impulse Upward Incoming XRP. Now, XRP price predictions and XRP price analysis or price theories are everywhere, every single day, and I read them a lot, I talk about them a lot, but ultimately, none of them are to be trusted. These are good theories, good follow-ups, like, they make sense, and you can attach value to them in the sense of, they do make sense, I mean, they're looking logical, but really, they have no good reason to really be true and to be trusted. So what I'm trying to say here is, if somebody says, invest in XRP because it's going to do this or do that in the next couple of days, don't attach value to it. I don't listen to it. I'll just say, yeah, okay, and ignore it and keep going on. If somebody says, hey, look at these partnerships that might scale XRP over the next coming years, then I'm interested. I'm listening because I know we're talking about the same subject here. We're talking about longevity. We're talking about long-term growth. We're talking about real value being attached to the coin instead of just another random price prediction based upon nothing because of some historical patterns. You'll see people saying history repeats itself, but hey, it might not do so, or it might do so in a couple of months. We don't know if we'll do exactly the same thing right now, and I would not count on it, just to be safe, just to be sure. But guys, if you have not already done so, make sure you check out my second channel, and to ask your question, is $1,000 worth of XP enough? It depends on your personal goals. If you're happy and satisfied at a $10 price with just 10 or 30, let's say $30,000 worth of profit, then yes. If you're not happy with that, then no. On the contrary, if you're thinking that XP will keep scaling up and up and up and beyond until $100 or 589, then yes, most likely $1,000 worth of XP will already be enough to suffice to retire or to become crazy profitable or anything like that. If you want to see more into that, make sure you check out my retirement plan. A video for that is in another, or a very cool link to those documents or whatever is in one of my other videos, so you can check it out. But yeah, that's my idea on the situation. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you let me know. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody, and have a very nice day.